my dear students. So I am back with a new video, and today's topic of discussion is ulcerative colitis. Ulcerative colitis. So it is a disease of the bowel. So what happens? It is a type of inflammatory bowel disease. So what happens in inflammatory bowel disease? There is involvement of the small and large bowels, and then there is multiple ulcer formations in the bowel. So we will talk about the ulcerative colitis. It is a type of inflammatory bowel disease. This is usually uncommon in India, and infections can also be the reasons, but the etiology, we will focus on etiology, the causes. The causes are various. There are autoimmune factors. Autoimmune factors. We are not clear about this, but there are some autoimmune reactions going in the body of the patient of ulcerative colitis. So there are increased or there are elevated anticolon antibodies. So these are increased. Anticolon antibodies are increased. Then there is presence of cytotoxic T lymphocytes. So this also indicates that some autoimmune reactions are going on. There is presence of cytotoxic T lymphocytes against the colonic epithelium cells, and there is increased anticolon antibodies, the presence of anticolon antibodies. These two factors indicate that there are some autoimmune reactions going. Now there is also dysfunctional immunofactors, dysfunctional or immunoprocedures or processes. So there are elevated cytokines or disproportional increase of cytokines, and that result in inflammatory changes in the bowel. Besides this, if the patient is consuming red meat, smoking, stress, or dietary factors, lifestyle, stress. Also, if patient has gone under the apectectomy procedure, and if the patient is having allergy to the milk protein. So these are the causes. Now what happens? There is formation of multiple ulcers. Pathology. First, the rectum is involved. Then the disease progress in backward direction. So first the involvement of rectum occurs, and then the disease progress in backward direction, and then the whole colon get involved. Now what will happen? There will be multiple ulcer formation occurs in the mucosa. So there will be multiple ulcers. These ulcers are given the name pinpoint ulcers. Pinpoint ulcers. So multiple ulcers in the mucosa. Then this will invert into the deeper planes, into the submucosa. So submucosa will also get involved. Afterwards, the healing process will start. So the rectum is involved first, then the disease will progress in backward direction, and the whole colon get affected, and there is formation of multiple ulcers known as pinpoint ulcers, and then the disease progress inwards in the submucosa, and then the healing process occurs. So what happens in healing process? There is hypertrophy of the epithelium, and the hypertrophy of the epithelium between the ulcers will occur, and that will leads to the, or that will resemble the polyps, pseudo polyps. So we will call them pseudo polyps. So pseudo polyps are formed between the ulcers because of the hypertrophy of the epithelium. And what will happen next? There will be fibrosis, and the healing will go on, and the fibrosis will cause the contraction, and that will lead to the narrowing and contraction of the colon. So the colon will get contracted and narrow because of the fibrosis. Because of fibrosis, the colon will get contracted or narrow. That look is known as pipe stem colon. That colon is called pipe stem colon. First, there will be multiple ulcerations in the mucosa, then the submucosa will get involved, and then the healing will occur, and there will be hypertrophy of the epithelium that will lead to the pseudo polyps, and after the healing will occurs with the fibrosis, and that will lead to the contraction of the colon, and that colon is called stem pipe colon or pipe stem colon. Clinical features. In clinical features, there will be recurrent diarrhea, loose motions, watery diarrhea. So there will be watery diarrhea with blood and mucus, vomitings. No, vomitings will not occur. There will be watery diarrhea. 15 to 20 attacks of diarrhea, watery diarrhea, because the whole colon will get affected. Then there is distension of abdomen, gastric changes, distension of abdomen. Then there will be anemia because the diarrhea contains what? Mucus and blood. So there will be anemia, pallor, and that will lead to the malnutrition, weight loss, and hyponatremia, hypokalemia, and acidosis, shock, and that need a medical emergency. So there will be too much watery diarrhea, 15 to 20. So there will be anemia, hyponatremia, hypokalemia, shock, acidosis, and if the infection, yes, I forget to mention that in pathology, when we will see through the microscope, so by the microscope we will see that there will be pus cells and pus. There will be abscess in the crepes and in the lamina propria. So there will be pus, abscess, pus cells in the lamina propria of the colon when we will see by the microscope. So if there will be infection, that will lead to the toxemia, tachycardia, and fever. Now the types of ulcerative colitis. The types depend on the extent of colon which has involved, and also the intensity of the infection, or the intensity of the extent of colon involved, and also the intensity of the disease. So the types are depending on that. So on depending the intensity, it is of three types: mild, moderate, and severe. So what happens in mild? There will be 3 to 4 loose motions or diarrhea, and there will be no systemic toxemia. In moderate, there will be 4 to 6, and here there will be more diarrhea. There will be more attacks of diarrhea, more than 6 or 7, and with systemic toxemia. So there will be fever and tachycardia, so that is more severe. Now depending on the extent of colon, involved, extent of colon also it is of 3 types. The first is proctitis, when only the rectum is involved and colon is fine. So the rectum is involved, so there will be semi-solid loose motion, not watery. Why? Because the water will get absorbed by the normal colon, because only rectum is involved. There are no ulceration formation in colon. So that is proctitis. In left-sided colitis, there will be frequent attacks of loose motions with hyponatremia and hypokalemia. Then the third one is proctocolitis. In this, there is more attacks of diarrhea, and the systemic toxemia will occur. So it is very dangerous, and there will be toxemia and fever, because systemic toxemia will occur. So these are the types. Now, investigations. In investigations, we will go for the barium enema. We will go for the sigmoidoscopy. We will go for the colonoscopy. Then C-reactive proteinia are elevated. C-reactive proteins are elevated. Also there will be leukocytosis, means increased WBC. So we will go for the colonoscopy. In colonoscopy, it is easy to identify the extent of colon involved. Also, if there are some carcinomatous changes are going, that can detect in this investigation, colonoscopy. In sigmoidoscopy, we can identify, or the mucus and blood is easily visualized. And in case of infection, there will be elevated WBC, that is leukocytosis, and C-reactive proteins. So these are the investigations. In treatment, first the hospitalization and bed rest. Then we will normalize the fluid and electrolyte balance. So electrolyte balance and fluids are given intravenously to balance the electrolytes. Then if there is infection, then we will treat the infection that is causing this. We will give antibiotics, then we will give painkillers also, because there will be spasmodic pain in the abdomen. There is severe pain. There is hyponatremia, hypokalemia. So we will give proteins and potassium, and there is acidosis. So we will treat acidosis. Then there is shock and dehydration. There is anemia. So we will give blood transfusion to treat anemia. So we will give intravenous fluids to first to make the patient normal. Then we will give medicines like salazopyrins. Now what this do? Salazopyrins will suppress the activity of prostaglandin 1 and prostaglandin 2, and that will inhibit the process of inflammation. So inflammatory changes that are going on will get settled down. Then salazopyrins, then we will give cyclosporins, And if this don't work, then we will give the prednisone orally, corticosteroid. This is corticosteroid. So we will give the prednisone orally. Prednisone is corticosteroid. So cyclosporins and hydrocortisone. Hydrocortisone is also given to reduce the attacks of loose motions, the watery diarrhea. Then in surgery we will do what? Because if occur complications like toxic megacolon. What happens in toxic megacolon? The diameter of the colon will increase. Diameter will be 6 cm. And this is easily visible in X-ray abdomen. I forgot to mention in investigation, beside the barium enema, sigmoidoscopy, colonoscopy, and C-reactive proteins will be elevated. Also, there will be WBC increased, and the plain X-ray abdomen will identify the toxic megacolon. In this, there will be severe abdominal pain, fever, toxemia, tachycardia, and lethargy, weakness, weight loss. So there will be increased diameter of the colon. So we will do what? Like complications like toxic megacolon, or if other complications could be the carcinoma of the colon, there will be hemorrhages, there could be perforation in the colon. So if there is sepsis, there is perforation or toxic megacolon, then we will go for the surgery. In surgery we will do what? We will remove the colon. So that is colectomy, or we can call it proctocolectomy. So we will go for the we will